Here, you're on your own. Thanks, game. You know what? Screw it. This game, guys, this game, I f***ing love it. Everything from the gameplay, to the levels, to the replay value is absolutely insane. Searching for those moons throughout the kingdoms has been some of the best gaming experiences I've ever, well, experienced. However, not every moon was a smooth ride. Like the Galaxy games, there's always those ones that absolutely massacre you. This list is based on how hard the task is to complete the moon at hand. Hard to find ones aren't counting. So with that said, let's go. One of the best parts about Odyssey is the replay value after you beat Bowser, as you get to access some more kingdoms. Collect 250 moons and you get rewarded with a trip to the dark side of the moon, and I use the term reward very loosely. Anyone who's played this game knows why. The first of the painful moons you'll get is the boss rush present here. You'll have a third fight with each of the Broodals. None of them are particularly difficult, well except for Topper because he has like 10,000 things everywhere. However, the low gravity makes it annoying to land a jump on them when they're moving around, well except for Rango, he's just a coward. The hard part of this move is that there is no healing in between the boss fights and no checkpoints between them. So if you take a hit, well that's your problem, and if you die, well it's back to the beginning. After all those fights you have a refight with the best boss in the game, and I suggest you talk to Captain Toad first here because you get a moon which automatically restores all of your health. The fight at the end isn't too bad, you just need to use the Hammer Bros to make the boss go timber and knock out the bunnies, which feels freaking incredible to do. So yeah, you have to deal with 5 bosses on a maximum of 5 hits. Well, unless you bring in a super heart, which I suggest you do, as it doubles your health from 3 to 6, which is pretty generous of the game, so that's why this moon is low. But if you don't have a super heart, good luck. One of the highlights of the Mushroom Kingdom was getting to refight harder versions of the kingdom's previous bosses, and the one that gave him the most hell was Nucleotech. You need to get him to push the ice to stun him, capture his fist, and then ram it right into his face, which is incredibly satisfying. But that process isn't as easy as it sounds because the ice is very slippery, making it hard to get out of the way when he punches down, the waves of zombies that every single one of his attacks send out, and the ice crystals he shoots that don't hurt, but get in your way when you're trying to give him concussion. After each hit, he'll summon more ice crystals to try and drop on your head, whilst those zombies you love to hate pester you. And on the last hit, he'll try and crush you with his hands that lock onto you. So I hope you can time your long jumps well. You may only have to deal with 1 boss instead of 5, but this fight is way harder than any of them in the last moon, and there's no way to heal yourself at all during this fight, so you're stuck at 3 hits. Thankfully, again, you can bring in a super heart, so basically this game really likes to be generous, because I've never beaten this boss without a super heart. Hardest boss in the 3D Mario games? It's up there. The Lake Kingdom is up there as one of my favourite water levels in the entire series. Like seriously, it is beautiful, and collecting the moons in this kingdom was a treat. Unless it's this moon which can seriously screw itself. You need to use the frog capture to jump from tiny platform to tiny platform, whilst dealing with those waves that are one-hit kill. But because of how floaty the frog controls, landing on these tiny platforms is anything but easy, and having to time the jumps to avoid the poison waves as well, yeah, quite the pain. And that's just to get to the normal moon. For the extra moon, the tiny platforms are very far apart, and the poison is going directly against you. And then once you collect the key, you have to get back, and I swear that cutscene is one of your biggest threats here. These are easily the 2 hardest moons in the Lake Kingdom. In fact, I'm going to give the normal moon the 8.5 spot, because you have to do the same as number 8, just without the bit at the end. One of my favourite things about this game is the controls, because of how much freedom it gives you. With practice, you can actually get some really good speed with Mario because of how agile he is, and you'll need a lot of speed for the second moon from the dark side on here. This area is identical to one of the moon fights in the Metro Kingdom, but there, you have the motorbikes to get you moving. Here, you're on your own. Thanks, game. You basically have to be a speedrunner to get this moon. Activate that P-switch and you'll have just about enough time to make it. If you mess up near the beginning, just go back and wait for the switch to reset. And if you don't mess up, don't be surprised if you have to make a long jump to make it. Otherwise, say hello to your demise. The moon you want is on disappearing platforms, but at the speed you're likely going at, that won't be much of a problem unless you bonk. And don't think you can use Cappy to help you either, because he's required to open the door in the first place. If you haven't mastered the controls of this game by this point, you're not going to have a good time. Scratch that, you're going to have a miserable time. The Wooded Kingdom wasn't one of my favorites. Honestly, one of the most memorable things about this area is this moon. From hell! This is one of the most infuriating moons to deal with. There's a couple of moons where you need to herd sheep, but normally they're in wide open spaces, however they're always tedious to get back. But here it's worse despite there being only one sheep, as you now have to go down a linear track, with gates blocking your way, steps that you have to use Cappy for, more on that in a second, a corner with no guardrails, and have to send it flying over a bottomless pit. With the sheep's unpredictable AI, it's no wonder I hate this moon, it's so freaking annoying. Also, remember those steps? Yeah, you need to use Cappy to send it flying, but the angle Cappy hits the sheep determines where it'll fly off to, and it can be very sensitive. You know what? Screw it, I'm off to eat some lamb after this. It's become tradition by this point for a 3D Mario game to end on a brutally difficult level that tests everything you know. It doesn't match the perfect road or champion's road, but Long Journey's End is certainly not for the faint of heart. Climbing poles to sink into the lava, swinging poles to go into the lava, platforming on fast-moving ramps over lava, tricky jumps with the lava podaboo, and all that's just the start. This stage is a marathon with loads of tricky sections, like this section where you navigate your way through blocks trying to push you off without Cappy, and using the forks to fling across the lava where one misses an instant death as you can't fling Cappy whilst your butt's burnt. Well, unless you use a glide gun to fly over the whole thing. And all that's just the first half, by the way. Enter this pipe and you'll end up on a moving platform with burboos constantly annoying you, but whatever you do, do not hit that center pulse beam. It'll send out a shockwave that'll hit other pulse beams to send even more shockwaves out, and you end up with like 50 things to dodge. Literally. This part where the Pokemon can screw itself. After that, there's an 8-bit section with Donkey Kong, where you can easily change the camera angle to make the section not too bad, except for the barrels everywhere. But do you want to know what the absolute worst part about this kingdom is? There's no checkpoints. So die once and it's all the way back to the beginning. The very last section is where you get to control Bowser with boulders everywhere, which would be a problem if it didn't refill you to 6 points. And at that point, the stage is finally beaten, and thanks you for playing it, which is incredibly satisfying. So why isn't this number one? Because you can find loads of hearts that can heal you, and talking to the Sphinx makes you a super heart. Not to mention you can actually bring one of those in. So yeah, once again the game decides to be a little generous to you. Key phrase, being a little. But man, the feeling you get climbing that last tower, knowing you've conquered all of this. So we're at the hardest moon in the dark side. Considering you lose 10 coins for each death, goodness knows how much this kingdom robbed me. But I know it robbed me of at least 300 coins on this level, because I died over 30 times when I first tried to get this moon. What you need to do is throw Cappy on the Scarecrow, enter the room without him, jump down here, get a good camera angle, wait for the Banzai Bill to spawn, and then make 8 very precise long jumps on tiny blocks. There's not a lot of room for error getting this moon, because the jumps are very precise, and you can't properly prepare for them because that Banzai Bill is chasing you. And as the blocks are tiny, you don't have much room to build up speed, so you pretty much have to make 8 consecutive tight long jumps without the use of Cappy. I suggest you get the bullet bills to destroy these blocks at the top, as it helps with the camera to line up your jumps, as just a slight misjudgment means you'll either roll off, or jump too early and bonk onto the next block. I can see why some people consider this the hardest moon in the game. If you haven't mastered the controls, you're not getting this one. Thankfully, with some practice, I can usually get this first or second try, which I can also apply to the previous moons on this list, but these last 3 are absolutely brutal. The Metro Kingdom is easily a fan favourite of this game, and I can see why. Chucking Mario around the buildings to explore them was a lot of fun. And why am I delaying it? You know it's the rope jump challenge. What you need to do is jump over the rope 100 times. Sounds easy, and it is at first, but every 5 jumps until 50, it gets faster. Up until the point where you have to make very precise jumps, as 1 full rotation of the rope is faster than you on your lowest jump. And it only takes 1 missed jump for you to lose. You thought 8 precise jumps was banned in the last moon? How about 50? Often I just have to perform quick jumps and hope for the best. Whenever I get this moon, I just feel lucky. But if you thought this minigame was hard, wait till you see what comes next. The Seaside King has a minigame that dumps all over the jump rope. This might be my favourite level in the game, but I'll be damned if I like this volleyball minigame. It starts out slow, honestly, too slow. It takes forever for the ball to do anything, but eventually it starts going way too freaking fast all over the court. Thankfully you can use Cappy to get far away balls, and you only lose if the ball stops altogether, and thank for that, because if you lost as soon as the ball hit the ground, then this would have been number 1 without question. But yeah, because of how fast the ball moves, you'll need to react, and if you just miss once, you'll have to restart over from the beginning, and because you need to send the volleyball back 100 times, just one mistake is very likely. I've 100%ed Super Mario Odyssey 4 times, and this was one moon I always dreaded going after. It's so agonizing when you lose because the amount of time it takes to get back there is so freaking long because of the slow start. But there's still one more moon left to go, and I think I might surprise you with what I've gone for. But before that, here are some honorable mentions. On the Eastern Pillar, tight timing with the bullet bill. Herding sheep on the Iron Bridge. Oh joy, another sheep to herd over a bottomless pit. This time on a timed platform. Iceburn Circuit Class S. Almost no room for error on those bounces. Inside a block at the gate. That's a very tight angle to fire at. Invisible Road Rush. No cappy means you can't clear the poison and makes dealing with the free piranha plants at the end a nightmare. And Fruit Feast on the Sinking Island. Have fun getting all the fruit with the rising lava, though you don't have to do it all in one go, or it'd have been close to the top of this list. I'll never forget how surprised I was to see the painting in the Luncheon Kingdom that warped you to the Mushroom Kingdom first time round. And when I got to the Mushroom Kingdom, I never would have expected this moon to be the bane of my existence. Yes, Picture Match Stella Mario is my pick for the hardest moon in the game, because even today, the amount of attempts to get this moon can be in the double digits. To even unlock this moon, you had to play an easier version first, where you had to place the right parts of Mario's facial features in the right places. However, the pieces vanish after you place them. Score 60 points and you win. Not too bad, but bump the requirement up to 80 and completely remove Mario's face so there's nothing but a silhouette, and suddenly the difficulty rivals the likes of the hardest Mario levels out there. Because the outline of the Captain's clothing on the silhouette vanished too, accurately working out where his face is not easy. And as once again the parts vanish, you can't accurately use them to place the later features either. For me, this moon just often results in random guesses. I know there's an easy way to cheat this moon, but if you have to do that to collect this, then I think that justifies this spot. But I'm curious to hear, what are some of your hardest moons in Super Mario Odyssey? Let me know below, I'll be sure to respond. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.